Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings podcast. A marriage record can change your whole search in one shot. You might start out just hoping to learn when and where two people got married. Then you open the record and find a parent's name, a hometown you never knew about, a witness who turns out to be a sibling, or proof that the bride was married before. One document can connect two generations, confirm an identity you were unsure about, and point you to the next set of records to chase down. Marriage records are one of the most useful tools you can have in your family history research. Birth, marriage, and death records are the three main vital records, and marriage records often act like the connector in the middle. A birth record tells you where someone started. A death record tells you where their story ended. A marriage record often shows you who they joined their life with when it happened, where it happened, and sometimes who their parents were. A good marriage record can answer questions you have been stuck on for years. It might reveal a wife's maiden name. It can confirm that two people with common names are not the same person. It can show where the bride and groom were living at the time. It may list ages, birthplaces, occupations, and whether either person had been married before. Some records name parents. Some name witnesses who are relatives. Even when the record is simple, it can still point you to the next place to search. And one important thing to understand is that marriage records are not always a single document. Depending on the place and time period, you might find a marriage license, an application, a bond, a return, or a county marriage register entry. Churches may also have their own records, and newspapers often reported weddings. Sometimes you find one of these items, sometimes several. The goal is to gather enough evidence to prove the marriage clearly and to learn what it can teach you about the family. Before you start making requests or searching online, take a few minutes to pull together what you already know. Write down the full names of the couple, an estimate of when they married, and the place where they lived when they first show up together. If you know the names and birth years of their first children, that helps too. A simple timeline can narrow down the range. If their first child was born in 1892, the marriage may have happened in the late 1880s or early 1890s, but it could have been earlier. This kind of planning keeps you from searching blindly. A smart first step is to ask relatives. Family papers can hold items you will never find at a courthouse. Someone might have a marriage certificate, a church keepsake certificate, a Bible record, a wedding invitation, a photo, or even a note written on the back of an old picture. Also, do not limit yourself to close relatives. Distant cousins often have the best items because their branch kept the papers, while another branch lost them. Many people have had the experience of meeting a cousin online and discovering a document they thought was gone forever. It happens more often than you would think. If you cannot find the record through family, the next step is usually local government offices. Many beginners start at the state level, but the state office may only have records for more recent years. In many places, statewide registration started late, and earlier records stayed at the county or town level. That means the county courthouse, county clerk, or town clerk might have the marriage record even when the state does not. If you can identify the county where the couple lived right after the marriage, that is often the best place to begin. Another strong clue is the bride's family. Many marriages took place near where the bride's parents lived. If you can visit the courthouse or town office in person, you may find more than you expected. If you cannot visit, you can write or email. Give the full names of the bride and groom, the best date range you can, and the county or town where you believe the marriage happened. Ask for a copy and ask what the fee is. Some offices can search quickly. Others will only search within a narrow time range, so even a 2 or 3 year window can make a big difference. Church records are another major path, especially for older marriages. In some communities, a church recorded marriages long before a government office did. Church entries can be short, but they can also be rich with clues. You may see parents listed, witnesses named, or notes about permissions. If you do not know the church, look for hints in other records such as baptisms for the children, obituaries, or cemetery information. A funeral notice, or obituary, sometimes names the church the family attended, and that can lead you to older registers. Newspapers can also help, both as a backup and as a way to add detail. In many places, marriages were local news. A newspaper might include the wedding date and location, the names of parents, and sometimes a long description of the event. Later, anniversary articles can also give the marriage date and place, especially for couples who reached a big milestone like 50 years. When searching newspapers, try and name variations, initials, misspellings, and even searches that include only the groom's last name with the bride's first name. If newspapers are not online, local libraries and historical societies often have microfilm. Census records can help narrow your search too. Some censuses include how long a couple had been married. That detail is not perfect because it depends on what someone reported to the enumerator, but it can point you to a likely year. Census records can also reveal second marriages. If you see children in the home with a different surname than the head of household, that may hint at a prior marriage. That kind of clue can send you back to search for an earlier marriage and possibly a death record for a first spouse. Sometimes the official marriage record is missing because the courthouse burned, the records were lost, or the marriage took place in a place where records were not kept consistently. When that happens, you build the case from multiple sources. A church record, a newspaper notice, a census statement about years married, land records that show the couple together, probate records that name a spouse, and children's records that name both parents can all work together. One document is helpful, but several independent sources pointing to the same conclusion can be even stronger. As you work, keep careful notes. Write down where you searched, what spellings you tried, what date ranges you checked, and what you found. Good notes prevent you from doing the same work twice. They also help you explain your conclusions later, especially if you're sharing your research with family or using it for a lineage society application. Marriage records are more than a date and a place. They can connect generations, confirm identities, and lead you into new locations and new record sets. Sometimes they are easy to find, and sometimes they turn into a hunt through courthouse books, church registers, and old newspapers. Either way, they are worth the effort because they often hold the key details that bring a family line into focus. If you have been stuck on a spouse's maiden name, a missing parent, or a couple you cannot place with confidence, make marriage records your next stop. Pick one couple in your tree and work the steps in this article, one source at a time. Start with what you already know, then move outward to relatives, local offices, churches, and newspapers. Small progress adds up fast, and one good marriage record can break open an entire line. If you've got a hard-to-find ancestor you're stuck on, I'd love to hear about it. Just head over to ancestralfindings.com and click on Contact to send me a message. While you're there, take advantage of our free weekly genealogy lookups. Explore thousands of articles and enjoy hundreds of podcast episodes. We've been helping family history researchers since 1995. And if you're looking for even more, check out our Genealogy Gold Q&A series over on Patreon. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy searching.